The New York Yankees are in the midst of a potential World Series run, and with a monumental offseason ahead of them, it'll take all the right decisions to get them back to the Fall Classic. Between the biggest free agents in baseball, a stacked roster, and some top prospects ready to make their debut, this offseason is as stacked as they come, and that's where we come in. This makes the 29th rebuild of the Rebuilding October series, which is a series where we rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So whether you're looking for your favorite team or just generally curious as to how every team will approach the offseason, this is the series for you. And with that, let's get into the video. Before we can talk about who the Yankees should add, we have to talk about who the team will be losing into the free agent pool. The biggest name to hit the entire market this offseason is Juan Soto. Well, I'm sure you already know about Juan Soto. I'm going to tell you about him anyways. Across his 7 year career, he's posted a 953 OPS with 162 game average at 35 homers and 102 RBIs. He generally is looked at as a postseason hero and puts on a show while playing some of the best baseball the game has ever seen, especially for someone so young. 26-year-old will hit the market, and to keep consistency within the series, he will leave the Yankees. Obviously, this will be an unfillable hole within the Yankees outfield, but we will try our best to round out the roster elsewhere to bring up the slack. Another huge name who has a very small chance of making the free agent market is Garrett Cole. Garrett's contract has a weird clause in it where he can opt out after the season, which he will likely exercise. However, the Yankees can keep him from walking by adding an additional year to his contract and keeping him in town through 2029. And that's just what's going to happen, bringing a brief scare to the franchise's fan base. The next big name is Anthony Rizzo, who the team will decline the option of, allowing him into free agency. Rizzo's fall from grace has been pretty sharp. From being an 817 OPS sort of player in his first fall season in New York, to this past season where he saw his OPS drop to 637, while also only mustering 8 home runs, with a good part of his defensive prowess falling off. It's just too expensive of an option to hope you get a good version of Rizzo, and it seems that his best years are behind him. Another name that wasn't the same in 2024 is Gleyber Torres. Everybody remembers that player that hit 38 homers and 90 RBIs in 2019, but that sort of offensive production hasn't been present since. Sure, he's had some above average seasons with the bat since, but it isn't the torrid numbers that we associate the player with, and with his poor defense, it makes him available to get overpaid this offseason. The Yankees already acquired their future second baseman in Jazz Chisholm at the deadline and would be more inclined to improve at third base. The Yankees will hold on to Alex Verdugo in an attempt to save face in the outfield. Verdugo wasn't particularly great with the Bronx Bombers in 2024, posting a 647 OPS across his time in left field, but he did actually play some pretty solid defense for what it's worth. Part of the hope around Verdugo is his ability to square up baseballs. With the stat of squared up percentage being released during the 2024 season, Verdugo sits in the 99th percentile of all of baseball, with a large portion of his game predicated on sweet spot percentage. He'll never be in the club of the Aaron Judges and Juan Sotos of the world because he doesn't barrel the ball consistently. But if he can find that launch angle sweet spot a bit more consistently, he could be in line for a bounce back season. Another key piece of the World Series run has been Clay Holmes from the pen, and it should be a priority to re sign him to the squad. Across the last 3 seasons, Holmes has been incredible, posting a 2.5 ERA while striking out 9.7 batters per 9 innings. People like to give him crap for so many blown leads, and there is some validity to that, but when taking his season in as a whole, it's hard not to appreciate what the righty does. For Tommy Kahnle, he will not receive that same fortune to stay in the Bronx, getting poached elsewhere. Kahnle has been great during his 2 seasons with the Yankees, posting a 2.38 ERA in his 92 appearances. The underlying numbers don't love Kahnle as much, as he sat with a 3.99 FIP across that same period of time and can get a bit erratic with the walks at times. At his best, he is elite, but we'll let his potential downfall happen elsewhere. And then the Yankees have a pair of relievers with club options over both, in Luke Weaver and Lou Trevino. Both players offer high upside for their respective values and should be expected back with the squad. Weaver has been great, posting a 2.89 ERA in 2024, and Lou Trevino should be fully healthy back from Tommy John surgery. Staying on the internal side of things, the Yankees have 5 prospects who could make their respective impact on the Major League roster, the first of which is still a prospect due to an injury in Jason Dominguez. Dominguez gets his status as a prospect from his light tower power with his speed and arm combination. He also draws his fair share of walks to accommodate his high strikeout rate. The only crucial part of Dominguez's game that is yet to be fully seen out is his ability to play center. He's shown that he has the speed, but takes some bad routes sometimes, which could result into a move to the corners. Either way, it's a really exciting prospect that'll certainly have his impact on the Major League roster. Another prospect with big time pop is Spencer Jones, currently sat at Double A. Jones lit the world on fire in 2022 after being selected in the first round, crushing his way all the way up to A ball. The last two seasons have been a bit slower, posting a sub 800 OPS in both season and has shown no progression limiting strikeouts. It is unlikely Jones cracks the majors until later in the season, and that's if he can catch fire like we saw in 2022. Another prospect that struggled mightily in 2024 was Will Warren. Warren struggled in AAA, posting a 5.91 ERA across 23 starts while struggling with the long ball. And that trend continued during his tenure in the big leagues, posting a 10.32 ERA across 6 appearances, where his home run total continued to blossom for opposing batters. He doesn't have elite upside and could be a fill in option in the wake of injury for the Yankees. Another prospect who has the chance to be a fill in option for the Yankees is Chase Hampton in AA. Hampton's injuries in 2024 made it tough for him to make much progress in the system, but he continues to look good when he's on the field. His game is a bit more upside than Warren's, with a plus fastball slider with a good curveball and cutter to combine with it. His command can waver at times, and the injuries are concerning, but if he can get both under control, he'll be knocking on the door in no time. Another name that could make an impact for the Yankees in 2025 is Everson Pereira. Pereira continues to mash every time he steps onto a minor league field, and unfortunately, his season was cut short by an elbow injury in June, which required Tommy John surgery. That timeline could leak into the start of 2025, but he'll likely be ready by the start of spring training. Prior to the injury, he was mashing, hitting for an 858 OPS in AAA with 10 homers and 27 RBIs. Is definitely a player to keep in the memory bank, especially if there's an injury or if the team wants to use him as trade bait at the deadline. For additions, there really isn't much to address other than their big need at third base, which the team will fill with longtime rival Alex Bregman. Bregman might not be able to produce at that MVP runner up level we saw in 2019 with 42 homers and 112 RBIs, but he's still really good. He contributed 768 OPS with 26 homers and 75 RBIs for 2024 for the Astros while playing some good defense. Bregman fits the mold of what the team needs and would be an excellent value in doing so. And that's going to do it for the additions, bringing the final squad to Austin Wells behind the dish, with Ben Rice at first in a platoon, with Jazz Chisholm at second, Volpe at short, and Bregman at third. Verdugo would start in left, Dominguez in center, with Judge and right to start the year, with room to change if Dominguez proves he can't handle the center field spot, and Stanton, of course, at DH. The bench would consist of Trevino as the backup catcher, splitting time against lefties, Oswaldo Cabrera as that utility option with Trent Grisham, and DJ LeMahieu filling out the final two roster spots. Derek Cole would lead the rotation with Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt in the middle, with Luis Gil and Nestor Cortez rounding out the rotation, with Marcus Stroman available if Cortez does end up needing surgery after an aggressive comeback from injury. Would this team be on track for the World Series? Potentially. With the loss of Soto, they will lose a bit of that potency offensively, but can make up for it with a breakout season from Dominguez and better infield defense. First base would obviously be a point of contention, as it would require Rice to hit like his underlying numbers say he can. Obviously, they will be a bit worse offensively, but nobody can fill the shoes of Soto, and it's a matter of making the most of a bad situation in that regard and hoping the right players step up. This team would undoubtedly be in the playoff thicket again, and with any luck, can get World Series trophy number 28.